Welcome back, guys. Now that we have our character finished, we're going to just have a little refresher on how to modify textures. Not going to be super detailed with this, but just to make it fit our character a little bit more, we're going to add some face tattoos. Open up the texture folder, right click on the texture you're looking for. In this case, it's the picture of the face. After you've right clicked, you scroll up to show in folder, and then you're going to find the PNG file and save that out somewhere to your desktop or wherever you'd like to save it that you can reference it. You're going to open it up in your photo editor. I'm using IBIS Paint for my photo editor because it's free and I don't currently have Photoshop. You can use whatever you want. Again, this is not going to be a tutorial how to use IBIS Paint or Photoshop or any of the apps, but more of if you're somewhat familiar, then you can come back to this video and reference to figure out how to do cool stuff. Again, anything you want to add to your textures, you want to add them to a separate layer, so that way you can edit the whatever you're adding to it without messing up the original. What I did specifically was just screen capture some of Brian's actual face tattoos and use those to place them on his face. Basically, I just used contrast to bring the blacks out, and then selected just the blacks, erased the other information of his actual skin color, and placed it on the layer above the actual face so it did look like a tattoo, and played around with the opacity until I got it something that looked like it was an actual tattoo, or the transparency, I guess I should say. This was just a lot of going back and forth, figuring out what I thought looked best. No rhyme or reason necessary to just resizing it and playing around. I think you guys kind of get the gist, so I'm going to speed it up and probably not focus too much on this. If anybody has any specific questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll try my best to explain, or maybe make a more specific tutorial on how to do this if you would like. Okay, I already have this done, but let's just pretend I didn't. So I'm gonna throw just a random texture on his face so you can see. Let's pretend it was the regular face. And then after you have your tattoos added to the texture, you can either right click in here and import the asset for the texture that you saved from your photo editing app, or you could drag and drop it. So I already have it over here because I've already done this step, so I'm just going to drag and drop it. Let's highlight it first. If we can get the guy, there we go. Drag and drop it, and there it is. And now we have our tattoos on the face. Okay, now that we have our final character done, we're going to export out the VRM one more time. So you want to make sure you click over here under your hierarchy on the name of your character. Okay, make sure over on the right side your position and rotation are all set to 0, because this will not work if they're not set to 0. Okay, and then up at the top you're going to see VRMO. We're going to click that and say export to VRM. Okay, you're going to get this screen here. Because I've already did this, it's good to go, but if not, you do need to make sure you have named the character or something, doesn't matter what it is. And then always usually just put a version and an author. That should be all you need to export. Because if not, this export will not be highlighted for you to export it. And you can set permissions here if you care to do that. Doesn't really matter. This stuff up here doesn't really matter. Ignore all that. So, and then you would go down to export, and you're just going to name it and save it and drop it wherever you want on your computer. I've already did this, so I'm going to skip this, but this is how you would do it. Okay, now for the super exciting stuff, we're going to throw our character into a game. So you're just going to go to the Vroid hub, just Google it to get there. And you got to create an account for this. Again, I'm not going over creating accounts for you guys. But then you click submit character, you name it whatever you want, and okay, so I've named my character. I usually minimize this screen enough so I can drag and drop my file, so the VRM file that we created, drag and drop it in there. A couple of things to note: if it's over 64 megabytes, then it will not save to the Vroid hub. So you got to watch your file size on that, and then just say upload. It's going to take a while for this. Okay, once the file finally loads on the left side of the screen, you're going to be able to take a profile picture and then like a standing picture. It is helpful. You don't have to do this, but it is helpful if you do. So that way when you bring your characters up in games that accept Vroid characters, you can actually know which character it is that you're picking, because some of them don't necessarily give you your names. On the bottom right, after you've created or taken your profile and standing picture, is where you will save it out. And again, you can change the permissions here, so it's not super important that you do it in Unity before you export it. So if you want to be able to share your character for others to download it or not, if you want it to be public or private on the Vroid hub, if it's public, then people can see your characters, they can upvote on them if they like them, stuff like that. But yeah, you can change all that in here. So it's not super important that you do it in Unity, but you know, if you get in the habit of doing the permissions you want to use in Unity first, then you could skip that step here in the Vroid hub. Once you have your characters uploaded and saved to the Vroid hub, that's the cloud server that will save your files. Then you can upload them from Vroid to any Vroid hub game. So what we're going to do in this tutorial, again, I'm not going to show you how to download an app or how to create an account, but you're going to download an app called VRast. The VRast app is an awesome fighting game in the style of like Mortal Kombat, and it will let you upload your own characters that you made from the Vroid hub and fight them against each other. So that's what we're doing right here. Already downloaded and installed VRast, opening it up, and if you click on the right side here, I'm just fighting two computer characters to show you. You can see how it's asked me to connect to the Vroid hub. Here are all my characters that I've created in my Vroid. So I'm going to pick the one we just made, Brian Head Welch, and pick a fighting style for him. And then I'm going to fight him against Jonathan Davis, also of Korn, that I created. And then once all this loads, then you will see them fighting. I'm using computer versus computer, but you can actually fight the characters yourself if you want to do that. If you have a friend that comes over, it's really fun, it's awesome.